Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. We've all enjoyed her work in 3 Mission Impossibles, the first True Detective, films like Kiss Kiss, Bang Bang, Gone Baby Gone, Patriots Day, and more. And now, available for streaming the last couple of days on Netflix, her new show, Messiah. Good to see you, Michelle.
Good to see
Monaghan.
you.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well.
I always love having a Big Ten or a fellow Big Ten individual sitting here.
Yes.
You are from the great state of Iowa.
I am.
We kind of mined this a little bit the last time.
Yep.
So just growing up, Iowa Hawkeye football was always on in your household?
100%, especially with older brothers. I mean, I'd probably
Right.
get my ass kicked just by default if I tried to change the channel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
When I first went to Michigan, the name Chuck Long was a 4-letter word.
Yes.
Because he beat my, Jim Harbaugh, the current coach, and then the quarterback at the time.
Yeah.
He beat like an undefeated Michigan team, and Chuck Long was a 4-letter word on the campus when I went there.
Yeah.
He's a guy
he was
from
amazing.
Blast from your past right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So is your family still into Iowa football?
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
like
100%.
Okay.
It was a big win for us the other day.
Yeah.
That was
Smoked USC.
We smoked them, and by the way, we really needed to, because our performance at the Rose Bowl a few years ago was just it was appalling. It was
substandard.
Yeah, it was really substandard.
Right. So to at least show the Southern California audience what they can do and look like.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And
exactly.
it just again, in this day and age where things get so if you will 21st century whatever, just going to that stadium, it's kind of like a blast from the past. Did you grow up in that stadium? You ever go to that stadium?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I think now, especially now, what they do, during the halftime, and they do
when they wave to the Children's Hospital.
I know, it's so special. It makes me so
on.
proud, and there's been so many great things that have come out of just specifically that. But I'm very much a proud Iowan, and specifically a proud Hawkeye fan.
Did you ever play sports? Did you ever get into it?
I didn't. I didn't find my athleticism, that's such a funny word to say, until later in life. I was really awkward growing up, and I just didn't have any confidence whatsoever playing any sports, but I was a hell of a fan. I was always in the stands rooting everybody on. But now I love to get out there and play and do any kind of sport there is, or any kind of outdoor activity. So yeah, it just took me a while to get there.
So it wasn't growing up in Iowa, you heard noises from the cornfield and just got a little bit concerned, or get scared of sports because there was no whispering from the cornfields?
I think it was just like, that was my brother's territory. I had older brothers, so that was their thing. And it was just something that I never I never really got into.
Yeah, Michelle Monaghan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so also I think you mentioned last time you were here that you're from a Cubs family too. Because,
yes.
I mean, that's essentially, that's kind of like a through line in many ways, because the Cubs have a AAA affiliate in Iowa, and just Iowa's right next door to Illinois. And
it's true that the first time I ever went to a city, it was to see a Chicago Cubs game.
No kidding.
To go to Wrigley Field, and as a result of having seen the city, and they won. I remember them winning, surprisingly, at that time.
Right.
Well, they had like Rick Sandberg, and there was all those great players. And but that's when I decided I wanted to go to college in Chicago, and so I ended up going to Columbia College in Chicago. But that was like my first taste of a big city.
So your family took you to Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
You saw Chicago.
Yeah, I saw like buildings. I grew up in a town of 700 people. I was like, oh wow, these are skyscrapers. Holy
Right.
Oh my God. I want to live amongst these and not the cows. You know what I'm saying?
And then you wound up going to college.
And I wound up going to college there. And then from there, I moved to New York because, I wanted bigger skyscrapers.
Sure.
And then in New York, that's when I started acting. I discovered acting. And
is that how you got your break?
That's essentially how I got my break. When I was in Chicago, in order to put myself through school, I modeled. I did like Montgomery Wards. I did all the Target ads. I did all of that. So I would do that during the day. And then I would go to school at night. And that's kind of how I got myself through school. I studied journalism, though.
You did?
Yeah, I studied journalism. That's what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do.
Like what? Like a reporter?
Like investigative journalism, reporting.
Like 60 Minutes? Like
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting. We were always a big current events family, and we watched the news. We talked about the news constantly. And I think also when you come from such a small town, such a small place, you're always constantly kind of looking beyond you. Like, what's life, like beyond this little pocket here? And so when I went to Chicago and I saw that, I was like, I saw a real opportunity to be able to kind of go to school there and be able to put myself through school and kind of explore the greater part of the world.
What would that person what would that Michelle Monaghan who was modeling to get through school say if she knew the current Michelle Monaghan would have an Instagram account with 1.1 million followers?
She would be. You know what? I was always so determined. I always felt very fortunate because my folks always said I could do, my brothers as well, you could just work hard, put your mind to it, and you can do whatever you want. So I always felt really supported. And even if like I failed at anything, I always felt support. I could always go back to my folks. And my parents were always rooting me on. So I would say probably say thank you to your parents a little bit more, because they have been incredibly instrumental in my success.
You're talking to somebody who, my start, I went to the Medill School of Journalism in Chicago. Oh,
that's where I wanted to go, but it was so damned expensive. I had to settle for Columbia.
Well, I went there. So
you mean you didn't model?
Well, no.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, excuse me. No, back in the day, I could have, but I did not. No, I actually did. I stringed high school games in like Wheeling and Schaumburg and out for the Chicago Tribune to just make a few bucks. Right. But my parents were like, go ahead, load up on student loans. We've got your back. Yeah. Especially when I got out of there, my first job was in Redding, California, doing the nightly sports.
Wow.
For, I'm not kidding you, $6.50 an hour.
I believe it. It's the lowest paying degree coming out of school. And I didn't even graduate. I left right before my senior year because of specifically that, realizing after having done internships and things like that, that I was going to have to go back to Iowa and essentially be a one-man band. I was like, no, man, like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going back to Iowa. I'll just move further east, and hopefully something works out there. And
then obviously acting did, but my parents were always so supportive of, as well. So I know exactly what you're talking about. At Real Monaghan on Twitter, at Michelle Monaghan on Instagram, Michelle Monaghan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk Messiah, because it is cool. It is cool.
Yeah.
Did you shoot some of it, much of it, all of it in the actual Middle East? Or
we did. So we shot a good portion of it. We shot for about 6 weeks there, maybe close to 2 months.
Okay.
We shot the show takes place in Texas, Washington D.C., Syria, Israel, and Jordan, and we shot Jordan for Syria and Israel. Mm-hmm. And God, I got to tell you, that's like one of the most, one of the biggest privileges that I enjoy probably as an actor is getting to travel and going to places that I normally wouldn't have put on my list to go.
Right.
And, creatively, practically speaking, when you're, shooting a show of this scope and of this, with all these various points of view, you need to be shooting in that exact place. So, that was really helpful in terms of creating the character and the story, and you can really feel the production value and the scope of the show.
No doubt about that. And then again, there is no Messiah, I don't believe, going on right now. But I mean, you talk about the Middle East being in the headlines. I mean, it could not be more real, or if you will, scary. And I'm wondering what you learned. Did you learn anything through this whole process?
Well, it's
Michelle?
interesting. I mean, what I learned through the course of it, and I think, our showrunner's done such a great job, and, really, he was the creator of the show, and he came up with a story that's so intricately woven, and it's basically up for the audience or the viewers to kind of unravel the truth.
Right.
And so depending on where you're from, in whatever walk of life you've led and belief system that you inhabit, you will have a different takeaway, than the person next to you. Your takeaway is probably going to be different than mine, and as my husband's was different than mine. Mm-hmm. And so what I learned is that, really ultimately, having been able to travel there, and I met some good friends there. I had some Jordanian people that I'd met that'd taken me in when I was there solo at Thanksgiving last year, and I spent the day with them, and we're all really ultimately, no matter where we are, what corner of the earth, whatever language you speak, whatever religion you practice, that we're more alike than we are different. And we really all just want the health, safety, and freedom. And I think what's important about this show is that, you're going to walk away saying, okay, he's a con artist, or all these characters are searching for something.
The Messiah.
The Messiah,
yes.
right? Or he never says he's the Messiah. He holds a mirror to every character, and it's a reflection of them and what you want him to be to you. So I want him to be a con artist because I believe he's a con artist. Whereas, there are other characters in the story that are searching for salvation and they want him to save him.
Or hope that.
So depending
yes.
on what you are, and so it provokes a conversation. And so that's what I love in these divisive times is, people sharing their perspective and having the opportunity to put ourselves in someone else's shoes across the world.
Well, you're great in it. Everybody's great in it, and it's the story's terrific. And what a time to be on Netflix as well, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right. So before I let you go, I'd like to play Celebrity True or False. Mike Del Tufo, do you have the drop here for Michelle Monaghan? Celebrity True or False?
Celebrity True or False?
You can't handle the truth.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. Let's do it.
First up, for Michelle Monaghan on Rich Eisen's show, Celebrity True or False. True or false? You hold a Class A driver's license, which permits you to legally operate an 18-wheel truck, an 18-wheeler. Is that true?
True. Formerly held, but yes, I went to truck driving school. I played female trucker, and I went
in trucker.
In trucker, yeah. I drove that Grapevine 18-wheeler double clutch.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Parallel parked it. Did
Wait
the
a
whole
minute.
thing.
You
yeah.
parallel parked an 18-wheel truck.
Well, you have to in order to get your license.
What's that like?
It's absolutely it's mind-bending is the best way that I can explain it.
Now, I have to ask.
Absolutely mind-bending.
I must ask.
Yeah.
When you attempted or successfully
yes.
pulled off.
Let's just say that
successfully pulled off the parallel parking of an 18-wheeler. Was there an actual vehicle in front and behind you, like that you would have to?
No, because it's basically like a loading dock, but you have to get it. Yeah.
So it's not parallel parking the way that I'm clearly thinking of it.
No.
Like there's
no.
a Honda here and a Honda there.
No, totally different. But I had it for a few years because I got it for the movie because I was like, unless I am able to actually drive this thing, then I'm not gonna do the role. And so I proved it to myself and I did it and it was great and it was so nerve-wracking. But I ended up letting the license go because if you get pulled over for any fine whatsoever, it's like triple the fine.
No kidding.
So it wasn't worth it,
So you're like, hey, I have no intention of driving an 18-wheeler anytime
Basically, I just wanted it to be like, because my brothers and my dad have theirs, right? So I just wanted to be able to call them up and be like, yo, I can drive truck now. And then my eldest brother said, yeah, but you're still ugly. And I was like, well, there you go. That's a brother for you.
That is a brother for you.
Brother.
Okay, second thing, second aspect here, Celebrity True or False with Michelle Monaghan. True or false, you won multiple blue ribbons as a hog wrestler at age 13.
I did. But I wouldn't say multiple. I would say twice, 2 years in a row.
That's multiple? Anything more than one?
I think that's three.
Anything more than really?
Okay, I don't know.
Well, I guess you're a two-time blue ribbon
winning,
winner.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing. I don't even know if they still do it anymore. It's actually, now when I think back on it, it's terrible. But it is like Buchanan County at our, summer fair.
Winthrop, Iowa, right?
Winthrop, Iowa.
Home of Robert Gallery as well, correct?
Yes.
Former Oakland Raider.
Yes.
You went to school with him?
I went to high school with him. Yeah.
Michelle Monaghan and Robert Gallery are in the same high school yearbook, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And there was only 38 people in my high school. So that's saying something, right? Small world.
I assume he was a mountain of an individual.
Yes,
a
mountain. Well, the whole family was, really. I mean, they were all amazing athletes. So incredible athletes, great family, really nice, very,
big human beings.
Yeah.
And then again, you've already, I guess, done this. You already hit this. You were one semester away from a journalism degree when you said, screw it, I'm just going to go acting.
Exactly.
And your first acting gig was what?
This show called Young Americans. It lasted a season on the CW network. But it allowed me, CW.
Sure.
But I didn't have an agent at that time, so I was able to cold call some people, and I knocked on my agent's doors 20 years ago. She's still my agent today. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I got a job, and I said, I promise I'll work hard. And she said, I believe you. Let's give it a shot. And
okay. So then, who's crazier, Harrelson or McConaughey? Which one's crazier?
That's a tough one, man. They're just two peas in a pod.
I mean, we haven't had Woody Harrelson.
We've not had
Oh
Woody
my
yet,
gosh,
no.
you've got to get Woody
Please
here.
well, I mean, he's apparently got to get off the island of Hawaii.
Yeah, no,
first.
that's true.
That's what I've been told.
That is
by
true.
many
That's hard to
people.
get him off.
I've been told by mutual friends and other
Yeah,
agents
you
or whatever,
would
like
love
that
him.
he would. Yeah, that's what
And
I've been
he
told.
would love you.
That's what I've been told,
Yeah.
and I will take that to the bank. But we've
Well,
had,
next time I see him, I'll tell him.
Tell him.
Yeah, I will.
But I've been told you just got to get him off the island of Hawaii.
Gotta get him off the island.
We've had Matthew McConaughey here several
the
times.
best.
He is. I mean, it's great when you meet somebody and they are as you would expect.
100%.
And they're down to earth
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
And I just don't know if he really does talk to himself while driving behind the wheel of a car like we see on.
I'd like to know that too.
Messiah. Go stream it on Netflix right now and follow Michelle Monaghan again on Twitter at Real Monaghan and be one of the 1.1 million on Instagram at Michelle Monaghan. Thanks for coming on here.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, you know that. Please.
I appreciate that.
got
Thank you.
it.
I enjoy it a
bet.
lot.
And then for the television audience, I'm going to open residual checks with you.
Great, let's do it.
That's when we come back. On the radio audience, we'll take your phone calls. And has Jason Garrett, is there any news on that front, Chris?
After the break.
Okay, that's after the break right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Don't go away. All right, one more segment with Michelle Monaghan because we quite honestly can't quit you. But I've been doing this of late with celebrity guests, and I would like to open residual checks with you. And I think this has a drop as well, correct? Go ahead.
Pay that man his money.
Okay, very good. I have 6 envelopes here. Which one should I open?
Oh my gosh, let's go.
Choose
Here.
it.
Can I lean in and do
Sure,
it?
yeah. Lean in, and you have
this one right
chosen
here.
envelope number 5.
Yay.
Michelle Monaghan has chosen that. What's the first residual check you got?
Oh my gosh,
Back
the
in the
first
day.
one would have been for a secret deodorant commercial. The secret deodorant commercial. But the check that I still get today was from a movie that I was cut out of, was
Okay.
Constantine. And I remember I got that job and they ended up cutting me out of the film, and I thought I was going to have to pay them back because I was such a newbie. I called my agent. I was like, wait, they're cutting me out of the movie. She was like, yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. They had to cut the storyline. It has nothing to do with you. And I was like, well, do I have to like return the money?
Yeah.
She was like, no. So now every time I open up that check, there's a quick blip of me in the last final moments of that movie that for whatever reason they've got to send me that check, and every time I get that check I get the best feeling that comes over
Damn
me.
straight you do. Now this would be great
Straight
if this
to that college fund.
exactly. This would be great if this was a Leatherheads check because I got cut out of that movie
Oh, right.
and I still get. It is
Right?
not. It's from Like Mike, which is the first movie I was
right.
ever in.
Oh wow.
Yes. No, that was Disney's The Kid. My bad. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, $7.56. All right, let me open up another one real
Oh my
quick.
gosh.
Give me a number 1 through 6. That's
Oh my
not
gosh,
5.
let's do 3.
Number 3. Here we go. One more. Time for one more.
Oh my gosh, these are fantastic.
Do you still get Law and Order?
Yes, I still get Law and Order. I mean, it's basically it's like looking at your resume,
Isn't it? I
Because
know.
you reflect back, and you're like, oh my, and they're for like $7, this and that.
Oh my God.
What?
This is from the Puppy Dog Pals I just did. A new record. You can't ever go away, Michelle.
What?
153 bucks. Oh, animation.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.